Can you tell us about it? First of all, how were you notified to attend on the 29th? At what time? Where?
I requested for the meeting myself by email, and I was notified by email as well. It was held at the Workers' Party HQ.
What time was it?
10:30 in the morning.
And who was present at this meeting?
The disciplinary committee, Pritam Singh, Sylvia Lim, and Faisal Manap.
Okay. And what was the purposes for which you had requested for this meeting?
I requested for the meeting because I wanted to explain or at least reply to the remarks made in the first meeting on my performance as a member of parliament.
Okay. And did you prepare anything in writing to substantiate your position?
Yes, I did.
You did. And can you give us a gist of what was discussed at the meeting and how that concluded?
I outlined my successes and even my challenges as a member of parliament, including my work on the ground and in parliament.
Was there any discussion on what I would have thought would have been the principal concern of the DP, which is in relation to the 3rd of August speech?
There was, but the discussion was that I had made a mistake and it had cost the party deeply.
And what was your response to that?
I agree.
And how was that resolved? Was there a conclusion to this? How was it left off?
There was no conclusion. That was towards the end of the meeting.
At the time you left the meeting, what did you understand was the state of play concerning the progress of the DP? I mean, whether it had come to an end, had it made a finding, had it drawn to a close, had it met all the witnesses it wanted to, and so on? What was your sense of that occasion?
I sensed that a decision had not been made yet, but after I left that meeting, my personal decision was that I should resign.
And this concerns the 3rd of October meeting, which I wasn't present at, between Mr. Singh and her. And the question was put to her by Mr. Singh as follows. It says, before the October session, I met you and I told you that it was your call. Did the need to tell the truth in Parliament occur to you? And her response was, yes, but I was consumed with guilt and my own experience, and I thought that it wouldn't come up. That's her response. She was consumed with guilt and her own experience, and she thought that it wouldn't come up. And Mr. Singh says to her, you can't lie, right? And then she says, yes. So, I mean, as far as the 3rd of October meeting, I was not there, but that was her response to the disciplinary panel when asked why she didn't tell the truth before at the October sitting. She said she was consumed with guilt and her own experience.
Let me just stop for a moment and ask you for your response to Ms. Lim's evidence, where she says that this account took place, and the way it's phrased, she doesn't know the context because she wasn't present at the 3rd October meeting, but she says that it is for Ms. Khan to decide. Would you agree with that?
Well, I think when one informs an MP that he or she has to take ownership and responsibility, indeed, that MP has to take ownership and responsibility. And I can see why the word "your call" gives the suggestion that it's a choice for her to make.
Yes, indeed.
And I think that's a reasonable look at it. But in the context of how I had put it to Ms. Khan at the DP,
okay,
and in particular the question that I followed up with, I mean, you really can't tell a lie, can you? I think the entire context of the discussion on the 3rd of October really comes back to Ms. Khan having to take ownership and responsibility for this issue, which I believe I communicated to her quite clearly.
I understand. So you would agree, and I think you said that earlier, at least on its own, the phrase "your call," one reasonable interpretation of that would be that it is for Ms. Khan to make a decision.
If you discount the context of this word being used in a DP and the subsequent question put to her, I can understand.
I understand. Okay.